I'm going to call you guys out this time. Like, energy in the Garden has been okay at best all playoffs. Game 7, if you're there or if you're not there, if you're in your home, if you're watching at a bar, if you're watching down the street at a friend's house, I don't care. I need you to be up. I need you to come with the energy because we're going to need every bit of it. No excuses. We need everybody. So I'm calling you guys out. Let's make sure the Garden is ready to go.
You better have that dog in you. Game 7 today. TD Garden, KJ, and Dondero. We're getting you ready for it, but that has been the statement, Mark, that has stood out the most is Jaylen Brown saying he wants to see the dog in him, the spark in the fans. And I would say, can we see that in you guys when they haven't been showing up in key portions of the game?
KJ, what up? Good to be with you. So psyched for the game today. We're going to get you all ready for this one. A ton at stake today. That I will disagree with. What you just said, I'm going to disagree with right off the top. That is not the first. That's not the biggest comment that came out of the post-game situation after.
Wait, that the fans haven't been engaged as much as he thought they should be? I mean, if you lose, I don't know if you really want the fans to be that engaged, and this isn't the set of fans that are going to say, God forbid Philly wins, beat Miami. That's not going to be that chant like the old school beat L.A. It's not going to be beat Miami. It's going to be boo.
Yeah, what that did was really get people people are going to be all lubed up even more so now. That could be good and bad, okay? Because everybody that's going to be at that game heard those comments. And what's going to happen is if it doesn't go well, especially early on for Jaylen Brown, and I hope it does, because I'm rooting for the Celtics and I love Jaylen Brown. But if it doesn't go well, they're not going to be all that patient after the comments that he just ushered out after the win in Game 6. Because like you just said to open the show, KJ, it's not the fans' job to get the players jacked up, especially for a Game 7. Not the fans' job. The players are the ones, they're the professionals, they're the ones that need to go out and perform and to really give the fans something to cheer about. Because if they don't, they're going to hear about it in the other direction, which is not what the Celtics need. That would only help the Philadelphia. This is they made this game, this scenario, and this environment all that much more interesting based on those comments. There are a million directions we can go leading up to this game. I can't wait to see which way we go.
We will try and get to about 500,000 of them, or 4 really good ones, depending. 617-779-7937, text line 37937. KJ, Dondero, happy Mother's Day. And what a day, Mark, because we were kind of I was kind of hoping the game would be at 8, so that way I could have a full dedication to Mother's Day and not kind of cutting it in half, kind of like, hey, look, we got to get out of this brunch by at least 2:45. So so for the moms who are with their sons who seem to have their eye peering another way or trying to break through time, thank you again for being understanding, because that's what a mother is being understanding. And I don't know if that's going to be the case if the Celtics team comes out and gives up a bunch of points, right? If you look at a common thread, Celtics win, they give up under 104, right? They lose, the games are in the teens, so 100 teens, 115, 119 in there. So if there is something that the fans are going to be screaming, and I've been screaming this all year, is defense. Defense. But the other part of it is, and you're seeing this now in terms of teams that have advanced, the Lakers advanced with the big man presence. Denver has advanced with the big man presence. Miami has a big man presence in Bam Adebayo. He's a bit different. And now here you are. The Celtics are literally the one team that doesn't have a big man presence trying to advance. So you need to have the defense be at the forefront. So if you want the crowd to speak up, you're going to have to apply some serious defense.
Absolutely. Does defense still win championships? Is that something that still applies in this day and age of offensive output in every sport there is?
Well, absolutely, because think about it. You've noticed how a lot of these teams that are winning have suddenly gone to the mid-range and the paint game, right? Lakers, they're like, you know what? We're going to go to the bucket. Denver, what are they doing? Going to the bucket. What did Miami do? Jimmy Butler's a 2-point phenomenon. So the Celtics are that one team that still kind of believes in this long-distance shot that hasn't necessarily been going down the way it has all season.
I think the perfect game that the Celtics played was Game 3. That was the perfect game, in my opinion. The three-pointers, I think their percentage in that game was around 34, 35%. Okay,
Right.
Not the number you'd want. You want that a little higher, but because of how well they played defense, you don't need to shoot as high of a three-point percentage. And if they were spending a little bit more energy on the defensive end, and it cost them a few of those threes, the legs weren't there for a couple of those jump shots, fine. Because that defense was awesome. The way Tatum played at the end of the game, and I'm not even talking about Game 6. I'm talking about Game 3. The way he played at the end was awesome. The way some of those role guys stepped up in that situation, awesome. That's the game I'd like to see replicated, especially if you're talking about defensive effort. There is a ton. Look, I don't care. I'm going to give Jason Tatum some credit right now, okay? I love the game that he had the other night because that, for me, personally, was something that I've been going against for a long time, because too often, in my opinion, from Tatum, we've seen the 38 points, the 35 points, the 41 points. Yeah. But at the end of the game, KJ,
they lose.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't hit the shot that sends it to overtime. He doesn't hit the shot that wins the game, and yes, they lose. So that guy, despite the 37 points, I don't really have a lot to say to, because when you needed it most, you didn't get it. You didn't deliver.
No. This fairness, guy, Mark, that's what I've been saying, right? Like, I would rather have Jason Tatum have 12 important points and finish with 18 and win than to go for 40 and you suddenly need 44 or 46 from him just to win. Because if 40 isn't enough at that point, then there's a bigger problem that's occurred in the game. And I think what you're talking about in terms of in Game 6, where all of a sudden you turn it on when it's needed the most after you've looked the worst. It's like my high school grades versus my college grades. My college grades became immaculate my last 30 hours. Everything high school leading up to that was just questionable. But you finished strong. That's what people remember. So I think it kind of changes the narrative in this game. I think there is a demand to start fast, right? Because that's where I agree with you. Because if you don't start fast and the crowd is bucking against you, I don't know how you get that energy from the crowd to get it done towards the end of the game, because players are so emotionally attached to what fans are saying. Jaylen Brown doesn't make those comments about the fans if you're not listening to what fans have been saying all along.
Hey, maybe these comments, KJ, maybe they do put more of an impetus on starting fast, and that goes for everybody. Now, I understand in Game 6 they started fast. It was 13-3, it was 15-3, 15-5. But you need to. The pressure is now even higher to start fast if you're the Celtics after those comments. Because, again, you just called out he said, I'm calling out the fans. He stated that word for word. They're on notice. So if you don't start fast, Jaylen Brown, Boston Celtics, guess how much patience the fans are going to have for you?
-0.
You're doing a dance there by calling them out as blatantly as you did. Like, some people might advise against that. That's not necessarily a winning formula.
Well, if you've just been named All-NBA second team and you know that you potentially have a Supermax coming your way one way or the other, you may feel a little emboldened.
Sure, that's fine. But let's keep in mind, I love Jaylen Brown. Okay, but Jaylen Brown, we're not talking about, LeBron James. We're not talking about Michael Jordan. We're not talking about the upper elite of the elite. I love his game. He's second team All-NBA. Mad respect to that guy, and I want the Celtics to sign his ass as soon as possible. But I just don't think, let's keep it in perspective. I still think it's realistic to say calling out the fans in the way he did can be good and bad. It depends on how you perform. And if he doesn't perform well, it's got to happen. I'm going to say one other thing real quick. Jason Tatum, I appreciate this guy because he has an effort even when it's not going well. He had a great motor, great energy level when he wasn't shooting well the other night. There was no moping. There was no sulking around the court. In Game 7, I need more than that. Like, I need Jason Tatum, the scorer, in this situation, because
you don't need the Kobe wristband either. Do you need that for this game?
The Kobe wristband. I don't care if he wears the Kobe wristband. Whatever. Wear the Kobe wristband if you want to wear it. I don't care if he's going to score. But the plan is never for your best offensive player, KJ, to not efficiently score. That's never the plan. So this is Game 7. So if they want to be, by they, I mean the Celtics, at their best, they need him, Tatum, to score. It's great if he's getting rebounds, playing defense, real high energy. If he's not scoring, it's going to be an uphill battle the whole time until he starts scoring. You got to score. You got to do those other things if you want to win a Game 7, but he's got to score. And him starting fast might be the most important aspect to look for early on in this one.
Okay, in the cable TV era, because I'm not going to give you stuff from the 60s. In the cable TV era, since people have had cable television, here's where the Celtics have lost a series after being down 3-2. 81 against the Sixers, 82 against the Sixers, 84 they lost the finals to the Lakers. Then, of course, you remember the 05 conference semifinals with the Pacers, and then the 09 Eastern conference semifinals to the Magic, right after winning it in 2008. So this is one of those situations where you can see where things started to change. As a kid, I remember that 81-82 team, that Celtics team, they were coming off of starting a dominance that would come later, but Philly was able to finally get something going. And then, of course, if you think back to some of the Game 7s that were lost, like LeBron in Cleveland, and even the 76ers game back in the early 80s. This is a team where would there be changes if there isn't a victory here? Which way does the team go? Is there something they have to decide now? Do you run it back with these same guys? That, I think, is part of why Jaylen Brown might have made his comments, almost as if, hey, we're going to do everything we're supposed to on this court, but I need you to be behind us. I need you to give me the energy I want versus potentially the energy you've given us, the players, over time. That's why I think there's kind of a little bit of a stab in the comments, because when have you ever known the Garden to go dead unless dead stuff was happening on the court?
So what are you saying? He's talking more about the bigger picture things, all the off-the-court things that he didn't like, doesn't like, stuff that has sort of surfaced in these different interviews he's done? Is that what he was referring to?
It's a possibility. I can't say it's 100% there. I can't say it's 50% that. But there has to be an element of that, because it's almost like putting up bulletin board material, except for you're doing it to your own fans versus to your opponents, right? So if you're putting up this bulletin material, hey, I need you to be loud. The place has always been. Can you think of a time when things were going well on the court, it was quiet in there or empty?
No, I mean, I just didn't like, KJ, that immediately following a huge gutsy win,
right,
in Game 6, I wake up or I stay up or whatever happened, and I'm seeing two players on the team basically talking crap to whoever, the fan base, the media, the coach. Like, really? That's what we're going with? The minute you end this game, the minute you win this game to force a big Game 7, when a lot of people either thought you weren't going to win, or a lot of people thought based on how the game was going you weren't going to win.
A lot of people were concerned because there was this belief that what happened in Game 5, at the end of Game 5 with the lack of timeout, carried into Game 6. So it wasn't just a one-game frustration. It's kind of like, all right, what happened in the last one on the road has now carried over into the home arena. Now, I mean, I know some people at WIP down in Philly. I'm sure they probably feel the way us fan base felt after Game 5 that they feel now after Game 6, right? Like, they should have done this at home. They had the Celtics on the ropes. They didn't get it done. So it'd be interesting. Look, we got to get the trending in, and when we come back, we got to talk about the Joe Mazzulla aspect, what we see in the game today and everything. There's a lot getting forward.
Just real quick, though, last thing. Is it really the fans' fault that they're 7-9 in their last 16 games at TD Garden in the playoffs for how good this team is? To have that record at home in a basketball game, that is disgraceful, and it's not the fans' fault.
All right, 617-779-7937, text line 37937. KJ and Dondero still to come. Mama or you mother is a different way to celebrate Mother's Day. And, of course, bets to the future. We'll look at the NFL, Patriots outlook as well. Hang out right now, time to trend.
The Greg